The CX-5 is one of the most popular vehicles Mazda makes, and here for 2022 we have a refresh, some changes inside as well as out. This is a compact two-row SUV that punches well above its weight, and I'm eager to drive it. Get in, it's time for Family Wheels. There are good reasons auto reviewers like most Mazdas, and if you enjoy Family Wheels, we'd appreciate a like. When you give a like, subscribe and click the little bell to be notified of the next review. And share your thoughts on this and other vehicles by leaving a comment. In a famous advertising campaign many years ago, Avis, the car rental company, said, "We're number 2, we try harder." Well, Mazda is not even number 2 in Japanese automakers, it's several notches down. But I believe that same philosophy applies. Mazda tries harder. Also the fit and finish. Here at the top level, it's positively luxurious, and it feels like a car that is much more expensive than it is. As far as the changes outside go, we have a sleeker front fascia, a little more prominent mesh grille. The tail lights have been redesigned. On this top trim, the Signature, the cladding around the wheel wells is the same color as the body, and I like that. We have a retuned transmission and suspension, which Mazda says is now more responsive, a stiffer chassis, that's important, as well as more supportive seats. I can attest to that. These are quite supportive and comfortable. This year's CX-5 has the same 2 engine options as last year, both 4 cylinders. The naturally aspirated 2.5-liter base engine makes 187 horsepower. That happens to be identical to the 2.5-liter in the Hyundai Tucson, and it's in the same range as, say, the Honda CR-V and the Subaru Forester. In this model, we have a 2.5-liter Turbo 4, 256 horsepower. That's 6 horsepower more than last year. Now, mind you, that's if you use premium gasoline. You can save a lot of money by using regular gas, and Mazda says that's no problem, and you still get 227 horsepower. There's no front-wheel drive option anymore. All CX-5s have all-wheel drive. 256 horsepower in a vehicle this small is quite a combination, but I'll say this, when you really punch it, it actually tries to get away from you a little bit. Nothing disastrous, nothing particularly scary, but I did get a bit of torque steer from the front end, even though we're all-wheel drive. And then, of course, there's Mazda handling. In addition to the excellent handling and power, we have nice linear brakes here on the CX-5. They're not grabby, they're not mushy, they're just right. Mazdas are known for their sporty handling, but how do they do on a bumpy road? Well, we have one right here in the neighborhood. Gee, it's a really well-controlled ride. Mazda suspension engineers are among the geniuses of the automotive world. It does have room for our standard cargo of 3 bags of groceries, a backpack, and a stroller. Additionally, back here we have a 12-volt 120-watt outlet, a couple of mini bins. Underneath we have a spare tire, always a welcome sight, and a couple of mini bins on either side of the spare. Cargo space is substantially smaller than in the Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, and Hyundai Tucson. With the second row down, the gap is even larger. My first attempt at folding the Mazda's rear seats failed until the headrests were removed. This is an issue I encountered earlier in the smaller CX-30. As much as I like the CX-5, it hasn't done spectacularly well on our child seat test. Rear-facing child seat, the one that takes up the most room, is behind me. I'm 5 feet 11 inches tall, 180 centimeters, and my knees are in fact touching the glove box door. Now, if the front passenger is considerably shorter than me, that's not going to be a problem. Also, if you've got any kind of forward-facing child seat, that's going to provide a lot more room for the passenger up front. Here in the back of the CX-5, there is adequate room for an adult. My knees are not touching the seat in front of me. The seat cushion underneath, on some vehicles you get, kind of shortchanged. This is perfectly decent. I'd be happy to take a fairly long ride in the back seat. Other niceties, well, we have the typical HVAC vents, and in the center console, seat heat controls as well as 2 USB-A outlets. The CX-5 is well equipped at lower levels, but our top-of-the-line signature trim adds Napa leather seats with 2-position memory for the driver, 360-degree cameras, front and rear parking sensors, fancy stitching on the steering wheel, real wood trim, it's abachi, an African hardwood, traffic jam assist, and rear low-speed emergency braking in addition to the same up front. There's also a full suite of safety features that won this and other Mazdas the Top Safety Pick Plus designation from the U.S. Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Mazda always has one of the cleanest gauge layouts, and I think 3 drive modes is plenty. And here's a nice touch. When you start the engine, you're given 5 seconds to do up the seatbelt before the warning chime. It's cherry blossom time in Vancouver and Japan, a happy coincidence that gives our Made in Japan CX-5 a beautiful pink backdrop as we go over the prices. The turbo engine is standard on our signature trim. It's available on the Sport design as well for an extra $2,200. That's our look at the 2022 Mazda CX-5, an improvement on an already excellent vehicle. But what do you think? Leave a comment. As always, thanks for your likes, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for watching. I'm Richard Detman, and I'll see you next time on Family Wheels.